Welcome to Dakota Preparedness. There's probably at least a half a dozen different levels of long-term disaster preparedness. The first level is to have a 72-hour kit that you can last for 3 days. I think the second level is more of a novice level, as outlined in my video 9 essential supplies and gear and 14 skills, 2 different videos, which I'd invite you to go back into the history of Dakota preparedness and review. But in this video, I want to talk about a level 3. At this point, you should have developed a solid foundation for emergencies. Here's how you can take your preparedness to the next level. And I think there's several layers above this. The fourth layer would be that you're buying real estate property, particularly with disaster preparedness in mind. And fifth is you're actually implementing a lifestyle of preparedness, and sometimes that resembles homesteading. And I think there's a sixth level, and that is you're willing to relax your constraints on operational security and become a teacher of disaster preparedness for the general public. But let's get into how do you go beyond the initial foundation. I'm going to submit to you there's 14 pieces of gear and supply and 4 more skills you need to gain experience with. First, expand your emergency supplies. With food and water, aim for a longer-term supply. In the 9 Essentials video, I talked about a 3-week supply. Now, for a family of 4, you're going to build on that 3 weeks of supplies because you need to do it for 3 to 6 months. So let's look at just 3 months. What would you have to do? Well, given that you have 3 weeks, go to Provident Living. It's a website, one word. It's sponsored by the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and they list off over 100 locations where they sell high-quality, staple food at an economical price, and make arrangements to go there when they're open and obtain another 9 weeks worth of food, which will cost you about $780. And this could be done with multiple trips if need be due to budgetary reasons. Now, I would strongly suggest you have a diversity of your food storage with options for different dietary needs and different sources. Definitely go to Walmart and Aldi's and get some canned food. Vegetables, fruits, meals in a can. I also would advocate, if you can work it into your budget, having freeze-dried food. Augusta Farms is excellent. Mountain House is excellent. Four Patriots is excellent. Emergency Essentials, excellent. And we recently placed an order with freeze-dried wholesalers, which is supposed to be just outstanding. I'll probably do a video once I receive that shipment on a taste test with them. But have a diversity of food. Number 2 is you need to have more water storage. So what is recommended is a minimum of 1 gallon worth of drinking water per day for 14 days. A good way to store these is in aquatainers. It's a 7-gallon container that includes a faucet. You can get them at Walmart for $19. And I noticed while researching this, you can get them on Amazon for $16. But I would recommend for a family of 4 that you have 8 of those so that you have that minimum of 1 gallon of water per day. 3, make sure you have a way of obtaining drinking water. I recently did a video on rainwater harvesting using a tarp. So ensure that you have an appropriate tarp that you can do rainwater harvesting. Fourth, upgrade your medical gear. Now, in the 9 essentials, I talked about having a Johnson & Johnson or Walmart first aid kit, but now it's time to upgrade that. So have a SAM splint, cost about $10 for fractures. Have some irrigation syringes for wounds. You can get a pack of those for 60 milliliters for $5.99. Have some 4x4 gauze pads. Have some rolled gauze. Have some coach tape like many people know from high school athletics. Have some flex tape that allows you to put on the tape and then retry it a second time if you have to and adjust the pressure. 5, have a tent. I would recommend a Eureka 4-person $299 Kohana tent, but there are many good tent manufacturers at this time. 6, upgrade your energy situation. Make sure you have a battery caddy or for battery storage. 7, have a Gold Zero 200, a beginning solar generator, which sells for $179 and has 187 watt hours. And or number 8, have a larger solar generator such as the Blue Eddy AC 180, which you can get at Amazon for $629 and has 1152 watt hours. Now, I'm not stuck on a certain brand, although I'm thrilled with my Gold Zero and my Blue Eddy. But EcoFlow, Jackery have tremendous reputations also. Get a food saver. You can buy those for $103 on Amazon or at Walmart. Now, the one that we use quite a bit is ancient. It's probably 25 years old, but it works like a champ. Number 10, look at some additional water storage. Farm and Tractor will sell you a 55-gallon drum for $140 or an IBC water tote with 250 gallons for $400. Or if you get to looking around on the internet, you can buy those used, and what I do is simply pressure wash them out, and it's far more economical than buying it from a store. Number 11, upgrade your sanitation. Have a composting toilet. Now, the one I'm illustrating here sells for $29 and is about what we have. We have several of those extra. But it's amazing some of the engineering that has gone into some of the composting toilets. So it might be an area to review on Amazon. One major enhancement you can make in home or apartment security is getting a surveillance camera. We like the Nest brand, and a second generation outdoor camera only costs $115 now off of Amazon. Now, I will tell you, they're quite addicting. Once you get one, there's a tendency you'll want more. And they're just excellent. They can monitor 24 by 365. They can send alerts to your cell phone from a remote location, multiple states away. You can check your home and see what things are going on there. There also is a fairly economic service where it backs up the tape for several weeks into the cloud, so there's always the evidence there if someone did break in. Also, at this point of self-defense, of security, you should ask yourself about, yes, a cowboy bag. Now, in my mind, I say you need a Remington carbine and 2 Navy Colts. Now, you need to do your own investigation there. For me, it's a SIG pistol 365 XL with a couple extra magazines, with at least 3 magazines. I also like AR-15s, and I just use the Smith & Wesson brand. But you'll find, depending on how the look and the feel and your comfort level. There are other choices. My wife prefers a Smith & Wesson 38 Special Featherlight, and for her that seems to be the right handgun. I would strongly recommend that you get some formal training in safety and in the use of the weapon, and also in the legality of using them. It's a highly personal decision, and it should involve some deep research on your part. It's a tremendous responsibility, but yes, it is could be very advantageous in a very dangerous situation. Number 13, think about fire protection. A Kid D fire extinguisher for $27 doesn't seem that powerful, but my wife and I went through some CERT training with the local fire department, and at one point they used a fire extinguisher very much like this, and it was amazing to me how long it lasted and the size of fire that it could put out. So I highly recommend getting at least one or more fire extinguishers for your home. Number 14 is have some barter goods. I'm not a coffee drinker, but I know from my Navy days there are people that they just can't get started in the morning without a cup of coffee. So one good bartering material is the freeze-dried coffee. Have some comfort food like chocolate or candy canes and that type of thing for trading. Now, I would not trade ammo unless the person was a really close friend and ally. Now, you also need to look at some training. One of the key things is get more training in first aid, and a good avenue of that is the Red Cross. They have a website you can go to that will let you know about what in-person training they have, and also they have online training now that is quite economical. 2 is get some training on food preservation. Now, the food saver that I mentioned earlier is quite easy to use. You can follow the directions or look at a YouTube video and you'll know how to do that. Similarly, another food preservation method is drying food. And I submit you could buy a dryer and just read the instructions and do that. Now, for canning, I strongly suggest you find an expert to coach you in person and then supervise you when you do your first canning. Perhaps you know someone within your personal network that knows how to do canning. If not, call the local organization for the 4-H or your county extension agency, or just search online for training on how to do canning. Number 3 is get a Boy Scout field handbook, not their handbook for general things, but the field book from like the 1950s or 60s, and learn how to navigate with a compass and map. And I'm sure there's other material, including YouTube videos, that can help you on that. 4th, as I've talked about ownership of guns, get some training on firearms and the legality of them. If you think you want to go that route. There's also an excellent YouTube video site, and they give some very good insights. So those are some ways you can pump up to the next level. So if you found this video helpful, please click like and subscribe. Be prepared.